I hear the call of the stars.
G'day everybody, Duckville here again. We're into game number 2 between coLMVPNoblesse down here in the southern side of Shattered Temple. His opponent, of course, over here at the west side, if you're going to go with the compass directions, is EGHuk. He's done a great job in game number 1 there, taking out Noblesse with some nice deflection of the early sorts of proxy racks that we saw from Noblesse, and then just controlling the game with some really nice contain work from the Stalkers and the Sentries he had out, and then just pushing into a massive economy lead, which we saw him just utilize and just absolutely destroy Noblesse. So we will see if Noblesse is up to taking this second game or not, or if he's going to fall down to Huk and obviously have a little bit of trouble there, given that this is part of the championship bracket for MLG Raleigh 2011. We will see if Noblesse is going to get knocked out or if he can take a game back, and then we'll go to a game 3 and see if that goes the way of Noblesse or Huk again. But just here on Shattered Temple, of course, we are close air spots. There's no close ground spots in the MLG versions of this. We've got a gateway going down just at the moment for Huk, but of course, close air spots means that you can do certain builds as a Protoss and actually do a nice job. You can do, of course, pretty much the safest of any build, which is that gate robo gate, and get a quick observer out and float it straight across to your opponent, and then just scout out everything as to what they're doing and then react accordingly. So we will see if Huk's going to go with something like that. I'll be a bit surprised if Huk plays a little bit like that. He generally plays a little bit more, a little bit riskier than that. He's not always the safest of Protoss, but as we can see here, he's just scouting out the incorrect direction, unfortunately, which is across the map, and Noblesse, in fact, is going to scout the wrong direction. In fact, scouting close spots. I'm a little bit surprised he wasn't aware of that, perhaps thinking he was playing on ladder where you can spawn in those close ground spots, but now Huk is going to get inside the base of Noblesse and spot what's going on. We do have one Marine which is going to jump out in just a second there. Probably won't be able to stop the probe. No, of course, there's still a little bit of time before that Marine comes out. Probe's going to see what's happening here. We don't have a gas just yet from Noblesse, but the probe is going to escape for the moment. Seeing that the orbital command was on the way, along with no gas. Now, of course, as a lot of Protoss will be aware, if you see something like that, you're probably going to see an early expand. Now, there it is. We do have that very, very fast command center there from Noblesse. We'll probably see a couple of extra racks just go up, so he has the extra protection there as well, perhaps a bunker, just to make sure that he is protected while he is doing this expansion. Meanwhile, back at Huk's base, we've got this SCV just inside scouting out what Huk is up to as well. But of course, it's normal city here for Huk. He's just getting out the standard sorts of units, going to be getting that Stalker out to make sure he's protected against any Reaper attacks. But of course, no Reapers are going to be coming along, so it's all fine to just continue on with the probes. Probably going to put down some chrono on here. I'm a bit surprised he's sitting around with no chrono just at the moment, but of course, Huk, being aware that the command center went down pretty quickly, is going to expand very fast himself, puts down a Nexus and a pylon just down there at the natural expansion, and we'll see him get this base up and running, and we'll probably see. I'm really surprised at this chrono. What is Huk doing? I'm thinking this is probably going to be just so he can make sure some extra units get out, just in case there is some sort of preventative attack here from Noblesse. But as we can see here, probe just scouting in, did not actually see the bunker up here at the front or the fact that the command center was down, but he's just going to be a little bit careful at the moment, I think. Currently sitting there on that full chrono. I'm going to have to yell at him very soon if he doesn't actually start getting that. There we go. Finally puts the chrono down. We're getting 2 extra gateways here to make sure that he can get some more units out and be protected. The SCV here for Noblesse still scouting around. It's going to get caught by this Stalker trying to do a little bit of drive-by there, but the Stalker is going to have to do a little bit of running because the SCV is he's got his armor on today, taking a few shots, and the Stalker will just take him out right about now, and there we go. Cool. Alright, well that went all according to plan for Huk, of course. We do have a proxy pylon going down here in the gold. Very common spot to see proxy pylons from a Protoss against a Terran, of course, is over here in this gold base where you can actually just warp in units. A lot of time you do see them across at these sorts of positions as well, where you can actually warp across, you'll get it right, you can warp across the chasm there, which is actually really nice if you are trying to do some early sort of 3-gate pressure, which we may see from HUK here. He's got a robo facility on the way that's going to be done soon. Probably going to crank out a quick observer to make sure he's got some detection and, of course, some ability to spot the high ground. But a lot of Marines out here for Noblesse. This could get a little bit dangerous for HUK. The only units that HUK has out at the moment are a couple of sentries. He's got a couple of zealots now as well, which will help. A little bit of micro on these stalkers will also be quite good as well. He's just going to poke away, being very careful there. 2 sentries on the high ground will be able to provide some force field walling there, but the zealots caught out of position there. A little bit of micro takes out one of those stalkers there. A lot of these Marines are going to be getting low on health if he's not careful, but there are just so many of them. Look at all those Marines just running away. Nice stutter step there. They have their dancing shoes on. Take out those zealots, and we are only left with a few stalkers and a sentry as well. And Stim has just been started here for Noblesse, so of course it is a little bit later, given that he fast expanded and the gas was a lot later, but he still has a lot of power in these Marines here. Now, HUK is of course well known for his micro play, can do a lot of very cool things with sentries and stalkers, but as we can see here, there are so many of them, and Noblesse is trying to do his own micro there. Sentry sitting up there on the high ground like a crazy bird, just sitting there watching everything that's going on. But the stalkers are now going to push through here. The Marines have been whittled down quite a lot, and Noblesse is going to have to. He is going to lose all of these Marines. In fact, no, he's not going to, because stalkers have had enough. We've got some more stalkers now pushing through here. We've got 3 bunkers set up here for Noblesse, so he should be quite adequately defended for the moment. And we'll see if HUK is going to push through. These 2 Marines are trying to get inside the base here. They're probably going to get caught by some unit eventually, but they are going to try and push through here, take out one of the probes at least, maybe 2. No, he's going to get 1. There's a second. No, he's not going to get this second probe. That guy hides in the corner like a scared little puppy dog. And we will see, I'm going to assume that HUK is going to get crazy with these 3 gates. He does have a 4th on the way. The observer, did we actually get an observer out? No, we didn't. So HUK is still not exactly aware of what is here from Noblesse. Is not aware that there is that factory. Can assume that the factory and the starport are there, but of course the one problem he's going to have to deal with are these 3 bunkers. Once this turret goes up, he'll have detection ability there as well, so nothing like DTs, if HUK was going for that, would be able to get through. But here comes the attack force. I'm not sure if this is enough units to bust through here. In fact, Noblesse was out of position there. The units actually jumped out of their bunker and went to attack the rocks, but it looks as if HUK may be able to bust through 2 of the bunkers there. He could actually get through this this defense here at the start. There are so many units, so these marauders off to the side do have concussive shells, so we'll see if HUK is going to continue to push. I'll be a little bit surprised if he does continue. They're actually starting to get quite low on the units here from Noblesse. He does have that floating factory yet again, and now Noblesse has decided that it's go time. Jumps in, uses his stem up a little bit, takes out a lot of these units. All of these units are going to have to get out of there because they are going to go down quick smart, and in fact HUK is going to lose a lot of these units unless they retreat right now. But the observer now comes across. We'll be able to see that these guys are retreating for the moment, and that will be the end of that attack for both of these players here. HUK's going to be backing off with his forces, and Noblesse will be able to just sort of rally up his forces and just make sure he is protected against any further attacks. But now with the stim done, and of course the concussive shell on those marauders, he's going to be doing a lot of damage, especially to those stalkers, which HUK has gotten out in quite a decent number. HUK, once again, as we saw in game 1, well prepared for any sorts of drops that generally do occur after some sort of timing attack like that. So he is well prepared. He's got the stalkers back in the main base here, and he's actually was in the red for his supply for a moment there, but now he's warping in quite a few pylons to make sure he is at his surplus of his supply. And now more units warping in from HUK, so he is aware that he is going to have to contend with this large force now coming through here. Is no upgrades for Noblesse just yet, so the Marines won't be doing a huge amount of damage, but with stim and these extra medevacs here to provide support, he will be able to do quite a bit of damage just with that mediocre force just at the moment here. Noblesse, in fact, loading up some of the units, taking them to the top floor of the cliff there. Going to drop them off, try and utilize them from the top high ground there, perhaps going to block out some of the units from retreating back into the main. In fact, the factory is going to drop down here, going to provide a little bit of cover, going to give the zealots something to target, but they're targeting the wrong thing. HUK is now going to be in a little bit of trouble depending on how he micros this. There probably aren't enough units there for Noblesse to drop down and just kill everything here, but the distraction inside the main was good enough there for Noblesse. In fact, some beautiful micro to drop out these Marauders, and now that he has the vision of the high ground, these Marauders and Marines are doing a ton of damage here. With some nice stutter step, he should be fine to take out the rest of these forces. EGHuk in huge amounts of trouble. There are no Colossi out on the field, and there is the GG. EGHuk going down to a very interesting attack there from Noblesse. Just with a very late sort of Colossus deck coming along there from EGHuk. I just don't think he was prepared for that to just come straight at him like that. But Noblesse, of course, doing a fantastic job defending his base here with those 3 bunkers, even though he sort of did a little bit of miss micro and had the guys out of position for the time being. But did a great job defending and then counterattacking with this force. So we'll go into game number 3 and we'll see if EGHuk or Noblesse can take out this series in the championship bracket. Cheers.